And welcome to Talking Pittsburgh. I'm Joe Arena. We have a real special guest in the studio this morning, and we're talking about a very serious subject, domestic violence. And joining us now is Allison Weakland, a counselor and an advocate for Domestic Violence Services of Southwestern PA. Thanks for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were on the front line, you could say, as far as dealing with domestic violence issues. You pick up a phone and you don't know what you're going to get on the other line. Tell us what you do every day.
So I have many duties during the day at the shelter.
Right.
One of them is covering the hotline, because we do have counselors there 24/7. So when I come in, one of the things is answering the hotline, assessing those calls, seeing if they need shelter, if they need information about getting a PFA, a protection from abuse order, or if they just need someone to talk to. And then based on what they're telling me and what their needs are, I can guide them in the right direction and give them the referrals they need, or possibly even make plans to meet with them in public and bring them into shelter.
I would imagine your job, though, is the stress level can spike very quickly when you answer that phone sometimes. You're dealing with probably a lot of women.
Right. I guess it's something you get used to over time. I've been with the organization for about 7 years now. And plus, you usually have a coworker. I work during the day, so I usually have a co-workers there with me. So, we kind of tag team the hotline and picking up intakes, and that kind of takes away from the stress when you have other people there with you. Yeah,
there's so many programs and resources available for a lot of victims of domestic violence, but I think one group we don't always talk about are children that are in the middle of this situation sometimes, and how do you deal with that?
Well, obviously we bring children into the shelter. We have a children's advocate. Like, I'm a counselor advocate. I work with the women, but we do have counselors that work specifically with the children.
So that does exist?
Yes, it does. And then we also have a transitional housing program called Fresh Start, where women can move in there with their children for up to 2 years. And so they get kind of more a long-term assistance with the women seeing a counselor, the children seeing a counselor, as well as participating in support groups, as well as specific groups for the children and field trips that our children's advocate over at Fresh Start takes them on, and kind of replaces some normalcy into their lives and making them feel safe again.
Right, and I mean, that program sounds like a great one, but it's kind of sad to think that you have to have a program like that.
Yeah, it would be great if our organization actually didn't have to exist and I didn't have a job there.
Right.
And that's kind of the ultimate goal.
Yeah, when you talk to a wide range of women or any victims of domestic violence, what kind of advice are you giving them to try to make sure that they don't call you back?
Well, we're doing safety planning. That's the first thing. I have them tell me a little bit about their situation, who it is that's abusing them. Do they live with them? Do they not live with them? What kind of resources do they have? Sometimes they don't have transportation, a telephone, a friend to drive them somewhere. So those are some of the obstacles we have to work around while trying to help them. So I'm trying to think of the safest way to get them help. Can they meet me so I can bring them into shelter? Can they meet me for what we call empowerment counseling, which is counseling for people who don't necessarily need the shelter, but need the counseling and the guidance and the safety planning. So it's just a matter of, figuring out what they need, providing them with numbers to other agencies that can provide them with services that maybe DVSSP doesn't offer.
And even just knowing who your neighbors are, that can help, right? Just know who they are in case you need to run over to them.
Yeah, and talking to them, kind of if they feel comfortable and feel like their neighbors are helpful, letting them know what's going on, getting to know their local police department, and keeping a bag ready. Us hooking them up with a cell phone if their abuser doesn't allow them to have one. We have a cell phone program that will give them that outlet if they need that. So it just really depends on the situation.
Yeah, a lot of resources.
And a lot of problem solving.
Absolutely, and it's probably different every time you get a different call or a request. Yeah. PAsaysNoMore.com, something very interesting. We want to show some video about that. And I do want to talk to you about not only is it family members that need to be involved in the specific case of a family member who's a victim of domestic violence, but even coworkers or anybody in your life that you might feel like you have a good relationship with, it's worth talking to them about if you have a problem.
Right, and as far as like our hotline goes, people automatically assume it has to be emergency and that it has to be the actual victim. But we encourage, if you're friends or coworkers with someone and it's taking effect on you or you're not sure how to help them, you can call our hotline as well and we'll talk to you and give you some information that you can pass along to them, especially if the victim isn't ready to call us yet.
Yeah. Also, you guys give great advice for kids and teenage kids that are experiencing domestic violence that might want to step in and intervene. Probably not a great idea, actually.
Right. We do have an education and training department that goes out and does various school problems, all the way to little kids. They do hands are not for hitting, and then all the way up to teens where they do teen dating violence programs. And I actually teamed up with Prime Stage Theater this year to take a show, You Belong to Me, into high schools and colleges, and it's a show about teen dating violence. And what we do is we actually have a young girl in the area that was actually brutally murdered by her boyfriend. Her mom tours with us. Okay. She opens the program, shows a video to give you a little background on her family and their story. She speaks about what happened to her daughter, what she could have done differently had she known about domestic violence to help her daughter. Then we do the play, and then all of us get together, the cast, the mother, myself, and counselors, and we answer questions from the students and the teachers.
Obviously really empowering for people that hear that firsthand story of it.
Yeah.
We have some information we want to pop up on the screen really quick here. Allison, probably the best place to get a hold of you guys is peacefromdmv.org, or call the hotline, of course, right?
Yeah, the hotline is the best. We have counselors there 24/7, so you will always reach someone and receive assistance.
All right. It's, like you said, sorry that we have this problem, but you guys do provide a service that a lot of people need, unfortunately. All right. Thanks so much, Allison. Appreciate it. Good luck, and hopefully we'll see those numbers go down a little bit as far as
the goal.
The calls you take every day. Thanks so much, and we'll be right back.